What's up and welcome back to another episode of Andrew's Garage. Today we're working on the 67 Chevy and we have a massive gas tank that came in the mail. So this is a 31 gallon Blazer tank, and I know what you're thinking. Why are you putting such a big gas tank in it, and why didn't you buy the gas tank relocation kit that they sell for these for 200 bucks? Well, that's because I can buy this gas tank for a $100 bill and I can get the sending unit for 40 bucks. And I can buy it with 4 ports already set up for a return also if I ever wanted to LS swap this truck. So it's kind of the best of all the options in my opinion. So it is big, I know, but I've ran this same gas tank in a 71 Dodge, and I did the same thing, pretty much relocated this rear cross member tie in to the back, which you can see it's still barely not clearing, which you would think it'd be a big deal, but I don't think it will be, simply for the fact that I will be putting the gas tank from the bottom up to the bottom of the frame, and I'll be using some of this weather stripping foam as a protection layer on this tank so it don't get any holes in it, and it'll be going up through the bottom. So once it's set up through the bottom, hit it set on the lip, and I can make some brackets or some straps, I should say, to clamp it and tighten it down. So that's pretty much my plan. Now, the one thing that I was looking at was how much room I had in between this frame rail and the bed floor, and it's roughly a little bit over 2 inches. So that's kind of what I got to work with. But if you go to look at this filler neck, it starts getting rough, you know, because that is, you know, 3.5 inches. So we got to figure out a way to overcome that. So what I'm thinking is I need to get this tank pushed up through the bottom. So I have to relocate my rear jack stands to the newly installed Reese hitch mount. So once I do that and get it relocated, I can slide this gas tank up through the bottom and just kind of get an idea where we're at. Because I think what I'm gonna end up doing is notching this frame, just cutting it back like that and bending it down to clearance for this filler neck, which is no big deal because I will box the inside of this in real good from that cross member all the way back to here. Not only for the fact of that I want to be able to still use the reverse monoleaf helper springs. So what's important is just getting your project set, thinking it through in your mind, and then bringing it to life. That's my favorite part. So I got an idea of what I want to do, how I want to do it, and of course it can always change when you're doing these projects, because you could see a different way you could do something, make it better, make it worse, but it'll just kind of roll together, and that's kind of the way I like to work, is just figure it out as I go, because that's just how I am. Alright, now for the perfect cinematic touch is the cardboard install. I don't know what you're thinking. Cardboard. It needs to be a hair longer, but take a look. Go ahead, get it marked out for around the front cross member, and then once I have it slid all the way up, I can always just add a little bit. Measure it out and add some. So when I'm making templates like this, you know what to do. You just push, make a line, cut on the line. So try to get as close as you can to that mark. after about an hour, I got these trimmed up, the old frame rails, and some box panels made. Now, to note on these old Chevrolet trucks, if something looks a little bit off, it's because this cross member is mounted like skewed. It's got a bigger gap here than it does here, and that's just the way they are. And if you look back here, you can really tell. If you look right there, you see how this bracket actually comes back this way on the frame. Don't know why they do that, no idea, but the frame is now boxed in and it's looking stronger and beefier than ever. Now, I didn't really work too hard on trying to get it to tie back in here because I just didn't bother with it. So now tomorrow I'm gonna try to come back and fully weld this up and then start working on getting the gas tank back up inside of here and get these straps made and bent so I can get them welded on. And once I can get them welded on, I can go ahead and pull everything back out and give it a nice shot of paint and start installing the gas tank and drilling holes, figuring out where they're going to mount on this beam to come in contact with the bottom of the gas tank so you're not trying to strap across, not a groove. And in order for that to make sense, I'll show you. If you look on the bottom of the tank, see the grooves that are in it? That's basically what I'm judging it off of. So I will make sure that my straps land inside one of these grooves so that doesn't wear the tank weird. So that is where I'm calling it a night. Now, it's been a little short sprint tonight, but I got a lot done, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit, make sure there's no fires or anything like that. So we'll pick back up tomorrow. Shot some flat black paint just to cover them up. Turned out pretty good. It's still pretty hot. Paint pretty much baked on. But basically now I'm just going to get the gas tank set into place, get it eyeballed where it needs to go so I can start working on these two brackets and getting them cut and bent around. I decided to not put the helper spring pads on, and I figured if I ever wanted to do something, then I'll put bags inside of there. They sell kits and they're roughly the same price, and honestly they probably do a little bit better job. So I'm going to go ahead, get the gas tank set up in here, and let's see if we can get those top retainer straps made up. So if you can tell from the video, this is kind of what I've concocted up in my brain, which my brain is a little funky, but it looks like it's going to work pretty good. So basically these are just retainers that are going to, so the straps are going to go around the bottom, and these are going to help hold everything tight since there's no lip or anything to catch in the tank since the tank's so low. So anyways, I just got to remove the tank because I don't really want to get a bunch more and risk getting a bunch of shit inside the tank, which I know I have it taped off, but still want to get it out of there, get it in a nice clean spot, and then fully weld this up. and then reinstall it and start working on figuring out where I need to put the straps. So that's the next thing on the agenda. So those are the retainers. They are kind of welded in place now. This one back here is a little thicker than this one up here, but I think they'll do the job just fine. So basically I'm gonna let these cool off for a minute. I'll apply some foam to the bottom of each one, and we'll get the gas tank kind of jacked up into place. And then once it's in place, I can figure out what I need to do and how I need to mount them straps. So that's kind of the next thing on the mission. Let's get the gas tank installed and make some straps. Gas tank is back, and you can see I got some of this expandable foam. It's 1/2 inch, I think, or it might be 1 inch. It's 1 inch. So it's 1 inch expandable foam, and that is laid on the bottom side. The gas tank is pulled up on it, so that'll help it so it doesn't rub or rub through. That'll last a long time like that. I've done a couple of these like this, and I haven't had any issues out of them. So now that that is like that, you can see I got one strap kind of made up, and it's just out of some universal garage door strapping. And I drilled a hole through the cross member that I moved back right here, and I got a thread, kind of like a weld on bung, and I'll weld both of them on once I get kind of set. But there's one sitting there, and it's kind of hard to tell, but I made sure that it fits good on the bottom, and it rolls up around right in there. So I have to drill a hole through this other cross member somewhere in line with the groove, so somewhere in here, and then get a longer bolt so you can cinch it up tight. Because I understand that these aren't perfectly bent, so you want to make sure that you kind of make it a little bit shorter and use a longer bolt. And that's why I did the bracing like that, so it doesn't try to pull the strap straight. It'll actually pull and put some good tension on it. So same thing underneath these brackets that I made is it's just going to be that 1 inch expandable foam. And I'm not sure if I have enough to do it, but at least know I have enough to put one strap completely on tonight, and then if I have to go get some more foam, I can. So the majority of it isn't really the whole way. It's more or less on the corners and on the bottom, so that's kind of what I'm going to put foam on and make sure that everything's good. But usually, because it has these bends in it naturally, so the straps are going to hit there. So that's kind of a spot to where once you get it kind of tight, you can kind of pry the tank over and put something in between there if you want. But factory, it is what it is. Once you get them tight, as long as you have them tight and they don't slide around, you shouldn't have any rubbage and shouldn't have any issues out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead, get some foam on these guys and start getting the gas tank tightened up so I can get this jack out of here and kind of look at my progress. You can see the filler neck looks like it's about perfect, because 2 inches above is where the bed floor sits. So looks like I'm sitting roughly maybe a little over 1/4 inch below that 2 inch mark, which will work out good because the hose diameter is going to be right up against it. So the only thing that's going to be tough about it is getting on the hose itself. So it might be smart to go ahead and order the hose and stuff like that and put it on while the bed's still off. So other than that, I think it's moving right along. Got the gas tank finally buttoned up and installed. If you look, you can see them straps. Foam's doing its job protecting. Foam's doing its job protecting. And everything turned out really nice. So, of course, these straps are welded in on top. And then I got some unistrut for garage doors. Made some custom little braces there. Now, it's not beautiful, but it definitely will do its job. And that's what it's about. So you're gonna see the gas tank from behind the truck, but that's just kind of, it is what it is, you know. But it doesn't look bad. Of course, I'll scuff it up and shoot with black paint. That'll help hide it also, but everything's looking good. So and basically the cost of this operation here. So if anybody wants to do one of these 31-gallon blazer things, I mean, I just did it because this gas tank is a $100 bill, and it's hard to find a gas tank for $100 that'll fit. Now this is a little big. You can also get the 25-gallon one, which is a little bit smaller, and it'll probably look a little better, and it's just as cheap. But so you can get these from, I think, like 83 to 95. Of course, the later model stuff is fuel injection. So if you get the earlier stuff, you know, you can still get 3 outlets or 4 outlets for supply and return, or I'm gonna look into getting the older one. But yeah, so I think this was roughly $100 for the gas tank and $50 for miscellaneous stuff. You see me use whatever I had laying around. So for 150 bucks, you can do a gas tank relocation, not including the cost of the sending unit, but I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet, so I haven't bought it. So this is where it's sitting, is 150 bucks, and it holds 11 more gallons than what their gas tank relocation kit is that they sell for these. I think it's either 17 or 20 gallon, so a lot bigger capacity. It's a lot better suited for what I want to do, which is long trips to go pick up my project. So this is just perfect for what I want to do. Like I said, it's not the most beautiful thing, but it is what it is. So that's where I'm calling it for today's episode of Andrew's Garage. The relocation of the gas tank is complete. I'm extremely excited. Next is getting the rear end back in it and cleaning the shop out because it's driving me insane. But thanks for watching. Tune in next week for another episode of Andrew's Garage.